The Act for establishing Crater Lake National Park was signed today. My first national park. And it only took 17 years. This deep, deep lake in southern Oregon, formed thousands of years ago after the eruption of Mount Mazamas, had very quickly become a sort of tourist destination for people in the area after its discovery in the mid-1800s. Now there was a particular fellow by the name of William Gladstone Steele who was touring the area, and he was so struck by the magnificence and beauty of the land that he determined right then and there, though he knew not how it would become a national park, that it should become a national park. And so he asked his fellow citizens of Oregon to petition the national government. He wrote hundreds of letters to hundreds of newspapers with a plea to petition the government to create a Crater Lake National Park. Eventually, in 1886, President Grover Cleveland signed a protective order limiting settlement for miles surrounding and including Crater Lake. But the creation of a national park required the Congress. And as I have stated before, certain members of the Congress had their vision tainted by the money that they could skin off the land for 2 to 3 years, rather than dare allow it to be protected for the ages. And of course there was the timber interests, the mining interests, the prospecting interests, who of course had great influence with certain members of Congress. And there was the difficulty of certain people of Oregon thinking that the national government should mind its own business when it came to Oregon. But after many years and many attempts, in 1901, Representative Thomas Tongue of Oregon wrote and introduced a bill which passed the House and the Senate. Of course, it required a number of amendments, including one to continue prospecting rights in a national park, which was unheard of, which was eventually overturned. But on May the 22nd, I had the privilege of signing Crater Lake into a national park, though I never had the honor of visiting the park directly myself, although some people seem to think I did, particularly because of a photograph of a rather questionable look-alike of mine visiting the lake, though I can assure you that that is not me. But it was still my honor and privilege to set aside land for the public good, a privilege that I had 5 times in my presidency. Regarding national parks, there were still hundreds of thousands of other acres that I protected by other means, but that is another story. For today, May the 22nd, 1902, a national park was created. After 17 years of effort. There's persistence for you.